line. Over there, over there. Send the word over there. That the Yanks are coming, the Yanks are coming. The drums rum-tumming everywhere. So prepare, say a prayer. Send the word to beware. We'll be over, we're coming over, and we won't come back till it's over, over there, over there, over there. Send the word over.
Hey everybody, this is Joshua Littrell. Thank you so much for joining us today on the Honor Across Arms podcast. I am so honored to have retired Marine Colonel Mark Olson as our guest today. Mark, how are you doing, sir?
Hey, sir, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me here.
Absolutely, Colonel Olson. I can't say thank you enough for what you've done for your country, and I can't say thank you enough for taking the time to just, express the love, first and foremost, for the military. I think that both of you and I have, but that's really the key to this Honor Across Arms podcast, is to lift up our service, let people understand what it is to serve, what it was to make that decision to serve, and then what it was like, some of the neat experiences you had, some of the great people you served with, some of the neat places maybe you saw. So if you don't mind, just give us a little understanding first and foremost of where you're located at geographically in the country today.
I am very close to Fort Leavenworth, Kansas. So I am, for those that don't know where Fort Leavenworth is, it's right on the Missouri River, about 15, 20 minutes north of Kansas City, Kansas area.
Nice, nice. Now, Colonel, are you originally from Kansas City?
No. I was born in Indiana and grew up a Cornhusker in Omaha, Nebraska.
Very nice, very nice. So you served 28 years in the Marine Corps, is that correct?
Yes, sir. That's correct.
Wow. I tell you what, Colonel, when you and I first started talking, and, I think about the level of service you've had, the commitment that you've given to your country. And I mean, I am bowing down right now to you, sir, because wow, the ability to serve 28 years is second to none, in my opinion, but thank you so much from me and from your country. I'm sure it was an unbelievable career, and we're going to get into that. This may be a two-part in the end, but we're going to get started and just run right into it. So when you joined the military, did you join right out of high school, Colonel, or what made you make that decision?
I had multiple music scholarships when I was in high school and as I was leaving high school, and everybody thought I was going to be a music teacher. But music teachers are not seen as, the cool guys or making a lot of money. And so I made the really brainy decision to join the Marine Corps instead of becoming a music teacher. So I went down.
Wow.
Yeah. So my junior year, I went down to sign my contract with the Marine Corps. And I guess that's my first funny story is I qualified for any MOS that the Marine Corps had. I had my choice of any MOS. And when I talked to the Navy, they were trying to put me into their nuke program.
Okay.
But my dad was in the Navy, and I was not going in the Navy because of that. I was going in the Marine Corps. No questions about it. So anyway, I can be anything in the Marine Corps I want. Now, I'm a junior in high school, and I go in and see the gunnery sergeant that is in charge of the recruiting station there in Omaha. And he says, "Hey, okay, Mark, you got your test results. We're really happy. You can be anything you want to be. What is it you want to be?" And I said, "I want to be an MP." And there's dead silence. And nothing against MPs, please. I don't want to.
No, absolutely
like
not.
That. But, I could have been, an electronics technician. I could have been an intelligence analyst, all these, technical fields that, the Marine Corps actually does have technical fields. So he looks at me with this, drill sergeant look and says, "Get the heck out of my office," except he was a little more colorful about it. Now, I'm a junior in high school, and I didn't know what to do, so I got up and left his office.
Sure. About
3 weeks later, Gunny calls me back and says, "Hey, Olson, come down to the office. I want to see you." Roger that, Gunny. I go down to the office and see him. He starts the whole procedure all over again. He goes, "Okay, Olson, can be anything in the Marine Corps that you want to be anything. You can be an electronics technician, just go through the whole list of everything. And I said, I want to be an MP.
Oh my gosh.
Get the heck out of my office. We did this 4 times over.
You did not, Colonel.
Yeah.
That is hilarious.
So finally, the 4th time, the gunny goes, fine. Here's an MP contract, He
wow.
gives me the paperwork. And then after I signed that, he pushed an application for an NROTC scholarship form. He put the application in front of me. He goes, you go fill this out and bring it back to me.
Okay.
Well, I wound up getting a scholarship to go to college instead of the gunny getting a quota for his recruiting efforts. He got no credit for me.
And for our listeners, that's all they fight for is that credit. So for him to pass you along and not get credit for it, that takes some real super gumption.
Right, and this was late 70s. I mean, there weren't a lot of folks going into the military at that time. I mean, everybody in my high school thought I was an idiot. I could have been a music teacher, been going to parties and things, but no. So I wind up, I take the NROTC scholarship, and I go to Virginia Military Institute. And that's a whole nother story and series of events. But, yeah, I finally graduated and become a Marine officer and go to artillery school and become an artillery officer. So now I'll stop talking so you can ask the next question.
No, yeah. That's phenomenal, Colonel. So you've gone to, VMI and boom, you're coming out. Well, first, before we get in there, what was your degree
in? Okay. How long have we got?
As long as you need, sir.
Okay, I went there. Now, remember, this is an academic scholarship. I went there as a physics major.
Holy cow.
Physics major, okay? At the end of the semester, I had failed chemistry, calculus, and physics. Now, that's like 15 out of 18 credits. No, but guess what? I did get an A in. I got an A. I got an A in boxing. One person in each weight class gets an A, and I got the A for my weight class. So, yeah. The Marine Corps was not impressed with that, though.
That is so funny.
They called me into their office, and Colonel Richard Weed, and think about it for a minute, and you'll get a funny nickname. But, yeah, honest to God, Richard Weed informed me that I was either a history major or an economics major.
Wow.
And I told him that I thought history majors were, plug in a derogatory term.
Sure.
And he goes, very well, Mr. Olson, you're now an economics major. Go down and see Dr. Chang. You will start attending classes as an economics major. He said, roger that, Colonel. And I started to step out of his office, and he goes, oh, by the way, Mr. Olson, I want you to know that I did graduate from VMI with a degree in history.
Oh, my gosh. Open foot, insert mouth, Colonel.
Yeah, exactly,
how in the world can you get on the worst start to your career?
Yeah. Oh, believe me, it goes on forever and ever. It continues to this day. Yeah, it's called pulling an Olson.
I'm going to have to remember that for future reference.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you graduate college, you get in, and you go to artillery school. Now, when you get in, did you choose to become an artillery field officer? Is that something you chose, or was that given to you? What did the process work like?
Unless you are a pilot or a lawyer, you're pretty much fresh meat when the Marine Corps gets you at Quantico.
Gotcha.
And you put in your 3 top picks of MOSs as to what you want, but the Marine Corps really makes the decision.
Okay.
And no, I didn't get my first choice. My second choice was field artillery. But all is well. I still have some of my hearing, but yes, I do wear hearing aids.
Golly. So what kind of neat things did you fire during your career? And how many, off the top of your head, if you can even think about it, how many weapons have you fired?
Artillery weapons?
Sure.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different.
Wow.
But at the end, what's really cool, I'm sorry, I'll pat myself on the back. What's really cool is after Desert Storm, I got pushed into acquisition of artillery weapons, and the piece that I did the initial testing on back after Desert Storm is the weapon that they're using in Afghanistan and Iraq now.
Wow.
So that was kind of cool. I always feel kind of like Forrest Gump, because I'm always in this picture off to the side, and there'll be somebody important or famous, and then what's Olson doing in that picture?
Oh my gosh!
So anyway, sorry.
No, what popped in my head is Charlie Wilson's War, that movie with Tom Hanks years ago, where he was making sure that people were getting the weapons, and I think it was in Afghanistan back then, which was 70s or 80s or something. Lo and behold, who knows? We're still there now. Crazy. But that's the ability to provide that support that our field combatants need. They have to have the ability to lay down some heavy metal. Let's lay the lead to them, and that's what you did.
Yeah. So what else can I tell you? I mean, I'm happy. I got two or three things written down here. I'd like to tell you one about my PTSD, if I could, real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's roll right into that.
I apologize. That's the one thing that I really wanted to talk about today.
No, sure. Look, we go where you want to go, Colonel.
And then after that, I'll answer all your questions. So,
all right.
Anyway, I come back from my third tour in Iraq, and my boss is a 3-star named Mattis. And Mattis sends me out here to Leavenworth to write counterinsurgency policy for the Army and the Marine Corps with General Petraeus.
Wow.
So after working with General Petraeus for several months, he calls me in and he says, "Hey, Mark, you need to go down and get checked for PTSD."
Okay. Well, I mean, when General Petraeus is telling you that, you probably should listen.
Well, yeah, but again, you remember pulling an Olson. I said, boss, is that an order? And,
oh my gosh!
Gives me this typical look that everybody in the military can imagine, a 3-star when you question him. That's the look I got. And he said, "Mark,
oh my gosh,
I usually don't have to order people to do things like this. I would really like it if you would go down and be checked for PTSD.
Wow.
Do you need me to order you?" I was like, "No, sir. No, I'm good. So anyway, I go down and see the doctors, because that's what General Petraeus told me to do.
Sure.
So I see the doctor for like 3 times, and he called me back in for the fourth time, and he goes, he says, "Sir, I worked with a lot of senior officers over my career." He was an older gentleman, older than I was. And he says, "I'm having a real hard time figuring your issues out." And that's always something you want to hear from a medical professional as they're telling you about your situation.
Right.
So
right.
I said, "Well, I'm a big boy. I can take this. I've been in combat. I'm a colonel in the Marine Corps. I can take this." And he goes, "Most senior officers are assholes." And I was like, and I apologize for that, but that's the exact quote. And I said, "So you're telling me I'm an asshole?" And he says, "No, Mark, no. He said, "That's the problem." He goes, "You're not an asshole." He says, You have asshole-like tendencies." And I kind of
asshole-like tendencies.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I apparently have issues. And I said, "Did you write that in my medical record?" He goes, "No, I didn't write that in your medical record." And I said, "Good." And I picked my medical record up and I walked out.
Oh my gosh!
So I tell my family about it, later on in the week, and so my daughter came up with I have AHLT. Asshole-like tendencies.
Wow.
That's what my family thinks I have. So I apologize for the rough language.
Oh my gosh. Don't you worry about that. I think our listeners around the world definitely understand it.
So anyway, I'm back on your track now, sir. Sorry.
No, that's funny, pulling an Olson in front of, General Petraeus. That's one you can't live down. That's for sure. So during your 28 years, Colonel, I'm sure you've served all around the world. If you could rack and stack it, what is the favorite place that you served at? Where was your favorite location?
I think North Norway. the Marine Corps has equipment pre-positioned up there.
Okay.
And so every year for 3 years in the mid-'80s,